Welcome all coming on to the session 2 of the Antegrade CTO Academy. In this, I would be discussing a brief about the coronary wires individually because while opening an integrated CTO, we should be aware about the basic characteristic of the various wire that can help in various situations. So coming on to this is the same slide I just discussed in the last session that first important thing for any CTO we should see at the CTO and we should see whether we can go ahead with the sliding if we can expect some micro channels and if it is not possible then we can go with the drilling and the penetration because in sliding we are aware that this micro channels are present and then the polymer jacketed taper-tip wires can be of use very much, and this is how the wire should be bent before reaching a CTO. It's a normal workhorse wire that can be used to take the microcatheter till the proximal cap of the CTO, and after that the dedicated CTO wire should be bent around 30 degree and not more than 1 millimeter to transfer the CTO. And during the course of the CTO opening, we can escalate or de-escalate the wire according to the morphology of the CTO segment. And in the drilling technique, I just to re-emphasize that the rotation should not be more than 180 degree in both direction and not more than 90 degree in one direction because this can lead to extensive dissection if it is rotated very vigorously. So this is about the wires. So taper tip wires, we have to keep in mind that the hydrophilic polymer jacketed taper tip wires are filter XT or XTA, or the non-tapered hydrophilic wire are pilot and gladius mongo. And this non-tapered hydrophilic wire are used when the vessel course is not known. And of course, penetrated, highly penetrative wires are useful in the penetration approach when this is very hard CTO body or cap, or if it is a short segment. So, most important thing for any wire is while opening the proximal or the distal cap of the CDO is penetration force, and penetration force depends upon is equal to tip load divided by tip dimension. So, if the tip dimension is less, then of course we'll get a more penetrative force. And in this, we can see these are the various wires starting from film XTR, A, Gaia next, ultimate velocity. This is how the tip load is increasing from zero point 0.6 to XTR to zero point 0.8 to filter XT, then point XTA has a bit higher tip load that is 1 gram. Then Gaia series and UB3 has a 3 gram tip load, and this goes on. So there are few characteristic of wire that should be kept in mind. For the Xion series, I think the Xion Blue can be a workhorse wire to take or run through to take the microcatheter till the CTO segment, and it's a very safe wire. That is, it has got a tip load of zero point 0.5 gram because it also has a hydrophobic tip that is 1.5 centimeter silicon tip, and before that it is hydrophilic 18.5 centimeter, and it has got no polymer. So it's a safe wire to bring the microcatheter to the CTO segment, or we can also use the run-through wire. And next comes the Xion wire. It is can be used in various crossing the collateral, septal collateral or epicardial. That is, it has got a Xion tech core and zero point 0.7 gram is the tip load, and it has a hydrophilicity of 28 centimeter. Xion black is of course having this polymer coating as well, and it is more slippery and can be used for retrograde septal collateral negotiation. And its tip load is a bit high, that is 0.8 gram as compared to the Xion. Next come the Fielder series, the Fielder XTA, XTR. So to remember the XTR and XTA has a zero point 0.2 gram tip load lesser than XTR, that is Fielder XT has 0.8 gram and XTR is zero point 0.2 less, that is zero point 0.6, and XTA has zero point 0.2 more, that is 1 gram, and they have a hydrophilic coating of 17 centimeter and also have a polymer coating that is 17 centimeter and radio opacity 16 centimeter. For Gaia 1, 2, 3, the tip loads are 1.7, 3.5, and 4.5. And for next that is available, the Gaia Next is also has an extra coil which prevent the fatigue and breaking of the this tip in the wire in the CTO segment that was of many times a problem with the Gaia 1, 2, 3. So Gaia Next is available, and Gaia Next comes in 1, 2, 3, that is 2, 4, and 6 gram, and its microcone tip is uncoated and hydrophilic segment is 40 centimeter. Uh, And then we have a very good wire that is Gladius Mongo wire. It has again a Xion Tech core with a 3 gram of tip load, and it is a hydrophilic 41 centimeter, but the radio segment is only just 3 centimeter. So it gives us a even a good visibility once we are through the CTO segment. And SO3 is a very beautiful wire which has a very soft texture. It has just zero point 0.3 gram tip load, and it is usually used for negotiating the tortuous epicardial collaterals. And it has also hydrophilicity of 52 centimeter. And filler FC wire commonly used, it's again a zero point 0.8 gram hydrophilicity of 20 centimeter. There are other wires that are available, and one of the inambiguity of the CDO course and the ambiguous CDO segment is stainless steel UB3 wire, which has a core of a stainless steel coated tip, and it is uncoated and 3 gram tip load. It is many times used in the patient in whom the CTO segment length is not clear. And if we have to go with the penetration, then of course Confianza Pro on Confianza Pro 12 CP12 is used. It has again got a core of stainless steel core to tip, and it comes between 9 to 12 gram, and it is uncoated tip, and it is hydrophilicity is 20 centimeter. And there are some other wires, newer wires like Infiltrack that have a higher tip load at 11 to 14 gram. So these are also used in where the penetration is required. And there are other wires also, Judo 1, 2, 3, which have also got a tip load of 1, 3, and 6 grams. So this is how we should have in mind what are the basic characteristics. And we should keep these tables in our mind that once we are dealing with this we need softer wire, then of course Xion series would be good. And if you are needing a polymer jacketed a taper T wire, then of course the Fielder XT wires would be needed. And if we are going to an intermediate to high, then of course Ultimate Bros 3 or Gladius Mongo would be good. And if we are needing a penetration force, then CP wires can be used with a higher tip load like 9 to 12 gram with uncoated tip. So the tip design is important, and I just told for the plain ball tip, the conventional guide wire has got this, but the guy next has a microcone tip, and many wires like Miracle New has a blunt tip. So, and this Gaia first, second, third is having a Shionte core, and it is a microcone uncoated, and it has a tip load of, for one, it is 1.7, 3.5, and 4.0. So these figures should be in our mind to have a better understanding of the wire. And the Gaia next has something extra that it also got an extra in coil, which what is said, it prevent the fatigue and the breaking of the wire. And it has a bit higher tip loads for Gaia Next 1, 2, 3. It is 2, 4, and 6 gram. And for Gladius Mongo, it is a good wire. It is having a Xion Tech core. And this is a 3 gram. It has a polymer jacket of 41 centimeter. And Filler FC, we are often using this. We know that it is again a stainless steel coated tip wire, which is having zero point 0.8 gram. So a bit about the Gaia wire. It has a micro cone tip, and it is having a 40 centimeter hydrophilic coating. And Shiontek core is very important for these wires because it is made up of this contains composite core which has a stainless steel. It has Act 1 rope coil around this. It has a round core. It has a 15 centimeter spring coil, and it has a taper tip. And it is already a 1 millimeter pre-shaped. So many times we need not to make a shape. And what the different on the right side we can see that it has a rope coil. It has a core wire in the center, we can see, and it has a twist wire around it. So it is called as a Xion Tech composite core design. It has a stainless steel core, which gives the strength, and a composite core that is Act 1 rope coil, and which contain a round core as well as a twist wire. So this is how the technicality of the wire is. This is a very wire which is meticulous in manufacturing. And for the Gaia Next, there was some problem with the Gaia where we were negotiating in the CTO segment. Many times it the tip got stuck, and many times it can break. So just to avoid that, Gaia Next series has got an extra coil which contain one coil string made from the seven smaller wires. So for important thing that should keep in mind for the Gaia family of wire, that no fast rotation of the wire, like in sliding or drilling, is done. So it should be avoided. It can cause the ladder dissection. And because the Gaia wire can go easily into subintima with, it can cause to the hematoma creation. And this many times when we take this guy wire, and if we are not able to reach the true lumen, then of course we can change the wires into polymer jacketed wire like Gladius, Mongo, Gladius MG, and it makes the propagation of the wire into the true lumen easier. And the important thing that should be in our mind that we should not use the guy wire when the CTO segment course is not known. And even for the retrograde, this Gaia 3 has been found to be useful in reverse cut. So this extend coil, what is important about the GaN-X wires, it has got a Xiontech core plus extend coil. So this extend coil has an anti-trapping power and low risk of wire damage. uh, and it is giving much more safety and better control and torque response as compared to the Gaia series. So Gaia Next is good wire. Um, and one thing about the Gladius Mongo wire, and this wire is important because it is a good option for the de-escalation from Gaia 2 and 3. Because the uncontrolled Gaia wires manipulation may sometimes steer the intima and it is harder to re-enter from the subintimal to the lumen. So it's the most common problem that an interventionist faces, that coming on from the subintimal space to the lumen. So this can be overcome by the wire like Gladius, which makes the propagation into the actual vessel through lumen easier. So these Gladius series of wires are non-tapered polymer jacketed guide wire for long and tortuous occluded segment, and even can be used in the CTOs which have ambiguous cores. There are some things, some advices regarding the tip formation for the mini star technique, although it's not a part of integrated wire escalation. Just to mention that if you are using with the mini star technique, then we can take a wire like filter FC and we can make the tip 45 degree and the secondary curvature of 15 to 20 degree. And in the last technique, we can make use the pilot 200 wire and we can make the tip 70 to 90 degree. For subprocessing, the wire is shaped with a very small 30 degree at the tip and 20 times the second curve. Many times we can use the other way. We can make a 90 degree bend followed by a 90 degree bend in this the wire that is Xion black. So many times it can be used. So this is discussing a bit about the wires. Now this we can see in the first we have got a CT of LAD, and in this we can see this. So as per the strategy, the sliding technique of the CTO was used, and we just took the filter XT wire and it crossed easily. So many times the sliding itself would lead to crossing the wire, and then the wire was de-escalated to the run-through wire, the part of the de-escalation strategy, and the routine PCI was done. Many times Gladius Mongo would be useful. So this is the we can see this is CTO which is of longer length filling retrogradely from LAD. And in this first the fielder wire was tried and fielder XT wire was not going. And this even after taking the Implanted catheter from the femoral root, we can see now the wire was, as compared to the Filter XT, we took this here, the Gladius Mongo. It has a better tip load, the 3 gram, and for ambiguous course, we thought it can be of useful because the bit course was longer, ambiguous around 30 centimeter, 30 millimeter. So in this, we can see the Gladius Mongo was used, and once it was through, we just downgraded the wire with the workhorse wire. And after that, the ballooning was done and the PCI was done. So the good knowledge of the wires will help us in doing good in this anti-grade wire escalation and opening the CTO. And many times the wires like SUO3 I just told was used to negotiate in this case of epicardial CTO over the caravel. This SUO wire was used. So this is many times crossing the tortuous epicardial collateral. The SUO wire is useful. So this is how the basic knowledge of the wire is going to help us while negotiating with the various situation in the CTO PCI. So thank you all, and would be discussing about the anti-grade wire escalation, and that would be a case-based approach. So thank you all for patient listening.